I was poking around and heard, I didn't hear anything. I was looking at different things, and Little Richard came up for one reason or another. And it dawned on me that I, like most people, know pretty much the Little Richard songs that he's famous, Bebop and Lou, or whatever he sings. Is it, what is it? I don't even know. But Little Richard's songs that he's famous for. We all know those. With his screaming and yodeling and carrying on. So I said, you know what? I have never in my life paid any attention to Little Richard, except for those things that he's well known for. I've never listened to an album of his, ever. So I searched him out, found an album or two, and just poked around, said, okay, let me listen to Little Richard, other than his hits, because I'm one for that. I'm all about, listening to things that aren't the usual hits. So I found a song that sounded kind of cool, and I'm going to play it. And when I listened to it, first time round, which I have already listened to it, I don't think I would have known it was Little Richard if I hadn't been told. The name of the song is Two-Time Loser. And it's a best of, it's hard to find albums these days of anybody, it seems like. But Two-Time Loser, Little Richard. Right? So far. I would just think this is some guy from back in the 60s singing his soulful heart out. So you have to ask yourself, critics and reviewers will rave about one guy or another, Little Richard, since we're listening to Little Richard, but never do they make the effort to play anything other than, Good Golly Miss Molly, or whatever that is, Lordy Miss Claudie, and all that stuff. So, people miss out. Did he start kind of a false start? Did I just hear that? I have to listen to that again. Maybe I'm crazy. And they left it in. Yeah, I would have never known this was Little Richard. Never. Still, at this point, I wouldn't. Makes me think of the Blues Brothers. See, this is why the Blues Brothers, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. They were heavy-duty Led Zeppelin, all that kind of a stuff. And then they were exposed to some of the early, this kind of a thing. And they saw the light. Like in the movie, when John Belushi goes to church. And James Brown is the preacher up there. You know what I'm talking about. Best part of the movie as far as I'm concerned. But nobody asked. So, yeah, I think there might have been a false start in there. Maybe my brain just went and glitched for a second, but it sounded like he started and said the word almost, whatever it was the word was. he was starting a new bit of singing there, and I was like, and stopped, and then they did a little bit of musical riff, and then he started. I have to listen to that again. Anyway, Little Richard, two-time loser. From I don't know when, the 50s sometime probably, maybe possibly the 60s. Don't really know. But I am definitely going to listen to some more Little Richard. Because I always really passed him off as this almost like, I had it this morning. I was thinking about it this morning and I had a good word for it. Now, of course, I can't recall, but novelty. Thank you. Thank you, somebody. Somebody up there in my brain. Like novelty music with the way, the things that we know of him. And that's a shame. You know? And that goes for a lot of people, a lot of bands. But that's one of my biggest gripes, is how you only hear the same thing over and over again. Same 3 songs or whatever it is. You name the band, and they've got a couple 3 songs, and that's all you hear. And that's kind of all you hear people in the reaction world, people out there reacting, and it's the same thing over and over again. And sometimes it's not their fault because that's what people request them to listen to. Oh, you gotta hear Stairway to Heaven. You have to listen to that. It's the greatest song ever made. It's a, what do they call it? It's a masterpiece by geniuses. None of it's a masterpiece, and none of them are geniuses. You know, I don't care who they are. They write great songs, for sure, a lot of these people, but genius? Not so much. All right, enough of that. Little Richard, two-time loser. Yeah, great song. Little Richard. Wow. After all this time, I'm a Little Richard convert. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? All right. Later, folks.